How did Artemis save the day using cakes? Cakes. The account actually comes from Herodotus, but I featured it in a recent podcast episode, hint hint, all about Artemis with Dr. Carla Ionescu. If you get the chance, go and listen to it. Anyway, there was this tyrant at Corinth called Periander, and being the sort of tyrant, he did a tyranty thing. He got hold of 300 boys that were the sons of noble families from Corcyra, and he sent them to Sardis to become eunuchs. Nasty. Now, obviously, they had to go across the Aegean to get there, and on the way they stopped off at the island of Samos. And the people in Samos were outraged by this, and they came up with a plan. In many ways, the plan was simple. They asked the boys to go and seek sanctuary in the temple of Artemis. And this was something that was done commonly in ancient Greece. If you could get to a temple or a sanctuary, you could kind of find an asylum there, and no one could force you out. It's considered a grave crime to do so. But the problem with that is, of course, that then becomes a bit of a prison for you. And that's what the Corinthian soldiers did. They made sure that no food could get into the boys. So how do you feed them? Well, the people of Samos came up with an idea. They created a festival in which boys and girls would dance with votive cakes held in their hands. And this wasn't uncommon, and by that I mean the votive cakes. Cakes were often given or offered at the altars to deities. It wasn't always animals and living creatures. It could be grains, harvest, and again, cakes. Being a god was pretty good back then. As these were items that were being dedicated to the goddess, the Corinthians couldn't touch them. And as the boys and girls danced around the temple, the boys were able to reach out and grab the cakes. And they did this each night. And eventually the Corinthian guards just gave up and went home. And when it was safe to do so, the people of Samos sent the boys home back safely to their families. Great story. Thanks again, Artemis. And thanks again, Cake.